Hello everyone, welcome everyone to the stream. Just going to be taking a few minutes to get started here, and we'll have a little talk about the Liverpool-Chelsea game that just happened. Very big game in the title race, and a lot of topics to talk about in this game. Obviously, the most important was that red card that Reece James got. We'll have a little talk about that as well. Uh, so we'll just wait for some more people to get in here, and we'll start the conversation then. So for everyone new that's joining into the stream, don't forget to drop the video a like, and also drop some comments below on what you guys want to talk about. Let me just tweet out the stream a little bit, and we'll go right into this one. Okay, let's tweet out the stream a little bit. So first of all, let's have a little look at the Premier League table. Obviously, we had Arsenal losing 5-0 at City in the early kickoff today. And Arsenal are currently bottom of the Premier League. 0 goals. 0 goals in 3 games, 9 goals conceded. It's very, very bad for Arsenal, but we have most of the top sides are starting off well. West Ham have been very, very impressive so far. Chelsea and Liverpool, both teams dropped their first points and conceded their first goal in that game. Everton have started better than I thought they would this year, and we have Manchester City as well up there. Spurs, United, who have a game in hand. If they beat Wolves tomorrow, they'll go up to the top. And Spurs are the only team now left that can still have a 100% winning record at the start of the season. Okay, so let's just tweet out the stream a little bit. What we'll do in this, I'd love for you guys to drop in the comments below any thoughts you had of this game. What were your thoughts on that Reece James red card? Because that's probably the biggest talking point of the whole game. That's one of the main reasons I started the stream. I want to have a little bit of a conversation with some of you guys, Chelsea fans, Liverpool fans, or neutral fans. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that Reece James call. I'll be giving my opinion in just a little bit. But Chelsea looked very impressive, very, very impressive, especially in that first half. They were looking very, very good, and they are a very dangerous side this year. Thomas Tuchel is a great manager, and they've bought a lot of great players. They've done well in the market, and I think there's a few more signings coming in for Chelsea. We could see a new centre back in Koundé from Sevilla, and there's also some links linking them with Atletico Madrid's Saul. If they can get two more of these two guys as well, I don't see how they cannot challenge for this league with Manchester City. There will be probably, if not the favourites, they'll be very close to favourites for winning that Premier League title. But once again today, they were very impressive. Mendy was very impressive in goal. He made a bit of an error in that Reece James, on that whole Reece James thing. He was a bit of fault in my opinion. But throughout the whole rest of the game, he was top class. Very, very good keeper that he signed last season. Didn't really know much of him before they signed him, but ever since he's come to Chelsea, he's been at a very, very good level, and I'm excited to see more of him. So, for anyone new that's joining in the stream, uh, drop some comments below, drop the video a like. Let me hear what you guys think of this game here today. Who do you think deserved the win? I think I'm pretty sure that a draw was the best result for this game. You could argue that the Chelsea were a little bit unlucky with that red card, and without that, I think they might have won this game. But it's a bit worrying this for Liverpool. If I was a Liverpool fan, I would not be very happy with that draw here today, because you were playing against 10 men for a whole half and never really had a massive opportunity to score. There was a lot of shots from a long range. Nothing really special happened. It just seemed that Liverpool could not break down that Chelsea defense, and it is a bit worrying for Liverpool fans. It's a bit worrying for Liverpool. But still, a point against this Chelsea side is not a horrible result. But under these circumstances, I think they could have done a little bit better. I might be a little bit harsh here, but I think they could have done a little bit better. And especially with that sending off, it was a weird one. It was a weird sending off. I'm not 100% sure yet if it actually should have been or should not have been a yellow card, a red card, but I'd love to hear some opinions from Chelsea and Liverpool fans. What do you guys think of this game? Are you happy with the result if you're a fan of either team? Personally, as a United fan, I'm pretty happy with a draw. I was expecting a draw as well at the start of the game. But before that sending off, Chelsea were by far the better side. They created a lot of chances, and the one player that wasn't really impressive today for Chelsea was Romelu Lukaku. It seems like he's kind of back to being that Premier League that Premier League striker that he was at United, and he's not that Inter Milan striker so far. He didn't really impress me today. He had a few chances to run at the defense and got his touch all wrong, as he usually did for United. Obviously, it's still very, very early on in his Chelsea career. He's only played 2 games. He scored obviously in his first game against Arsenal, and but I'm expecting a lot more from Romelu Lukaku. But it kind of looks like he's going to be the same player as he was at United. Just it seems like this league doesn't really suit him that well, and that's kind of mad saying that because he's got so many goals. He's a prolific goal scorer, but at the big games he kind of gets lost sometimes. From what I've seen of him at United, um, he could get you goals against West Ham. He can get you goals against West Brom. He could get you goals against the lower teams. Saying that West Ham are a very, very good team, so that's not a very good example. But you get what I mean. Lukaku is a bit of a bully against the smaller sides. That's why he scored against Arsenal last week as well. But you see here today against a big side where every single touch matters, he's not at that level. He's not at that elite level that other strikers are. And that's the main reason why Man United sold him to Inter in the first place, is because he was not good enough for United to go to that next level. Obviously, he's had that year at Inter. He's been very, very good. He's been class at Inter. He won the Scudetto with Inter, and he supposedly has come back reignited, revamped, a new Lukaku. He's slimmed down a lot from. If you've seen some photos from him back then and now, he's slimmed down a lot. But it still kind of seems like he's the same old Lukaku. It just doesn't seem like he's a top striker in the Premier League. But as I've said, it's still very, very, very early on, and things can change. He can prove me wrong a lot, but today he reminded me a lot of that Lukaku that was at Manchester United and was very, very annoying to watch. Very, very, very bad with his touch. Couldn't really do much in the game. But Chelsea, as I said, were the best side in my opinion. And if it wasn't for Reece James being sent off, I think they would have won this game today. But it was a weird call. Let's get into that a little bit. Reece James getting sent off. Let's see some photos from Reece James. Because I have to say that it was a bit of a weird call. Because the ball hits his knee first and then hits his hand. So it's not like he deliberately handballed the ball to stop the goal. It's just a bit he was at the wrong place at the wrong time, you can say. He cannot get his hand out of the way there, in my opinion, and I do think it's a bit of a harsh call to call that a red card. But on the other hand, if you think that this is actually a penalty, then I think you have to send him off, because it is a goal scorer. He's stopping a certain goal scoring opportunity. So it's literally down to if you think this is a penalty or not. If you think this is a penalty, this is a red card. If you don't think that this is a penalty, you don't give anything there. There's no in between, I think, in this call. And it was a very tough call. As I was watching the game, I actually didn't think it should have been a red. That's my personal opinion. But the referee had a different idea. He sent Reece James off, and at that moment, Liverpool got the upper hand of the game and they dominated possession. But as I said, without creating amazing chances, it just seemed that they couldn't break this Chelsea side down. And this is a Chelsea side that are very, very good defensively, and with not so much great defensive personnel, they are amazing defensively. And I think that comes down a lot to that midfield too of Jorginho and Kante. These two players together are on a different level. Very, very good midfield duo. And with 5 at the back, with them 2 there, it's very difficult for Chelsea to concede goals. Especially if they are to bring in Koundé, as it's been reported. I do think Chelsea will have a very, very good chance of winning this Premier League title. And we'll just have to wait and see. Because as you can see, it's not like the back 3 is a world-class back 3. Azpilicueta was very good a few years ago. He's getting on though in age. He's not the player he once was, obviously, but he's still a very, very good defender. And as a third centre-back, he's very good. Christensen, I'm not really a huge fan of Christensen. He's a good defender. He makes a few errors a few of the times, but he's a very good defender. And obviously we have Rudiger, who as well is one of those defenders that can have a few good games, a few bad games. He's not totally consistent in my opinion. Alonso as a wing back is very good, as a left back is awful. So with a 5 back you can have Alonso there, and Reece James I think is better as a right wing back than a right back. So this formation really does suit Chelsea a lot. As I've said, the midfield too with N'Golo Kante and Jorginho is very, 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 very good. And the front three is world class. You can argue it's world class. Havertz has gone up a level from last year. Last season he was a laughing stock at the start of the season. He was awful in every single game I've watched, but he's really got himself into the league. He's got acclimated into the league, and he just seems to get better with each game. He's just getting better and better and better. Mason Mount obviously missed a huge chance. I think it was in the first half. I'm pretty sure it was in the first half. I'm not 100% sure if it was in the first or the second half. But he missed a huge chance. And as I said, Romelu Lukaku was very mediocre. Nothing special from Big Rom. Now, if we are to talk a little bit about this Liverpool side, again, pretty solid defensively. Van Dijk coming back really has shored up that defense a lot. He's really made them a whole lot better than they were last season, and that's really obvious. He is probably the best defender in the world right now. I'm not going to say that with absolute certainty because he has been out for a very, very long time, but he just seems to have picked up where he left off. He seems to be at a very, very high level. Obviously, Robertson was his first game back from injury. He wasn't amazing. He got tired a bit in the end. That's why he got substituted off for Chimikas in the second half. And Trent had a good game. The midfield three wasn't great. Henderson was very, very bad in my opinion. He missed a huge chance in the opening minutes of the game. He was played through. He was one-on-one with the goalkeeper, lobbed ball in by Trent, and he totally miskicked it, and was a very, very big chance for Liverpool to go 1-0 up. And I don't know why Klopp doesn't really trust Thiago yet. He's trusting Elliott, not Thiago. It doesn't really make sense. I also did not understand why Firmino started this game. It's very, very obvious that Diogo Jota is a way better player, a way better striker than Firmino. Firmino looks to be a little bit finished in my opinion. He never was my favorite player. He never was amazing. A lot of people thought he was that special player. He was so great and everything. I never really got it. He had a few seasons. If we're being honest, he had a one and a half season that he was at a very, very good level. He was linking up play between the two wingers in Salah and Mane, and the midfield. He was a bit of a link up there. But he's just not good enough anymore. I think he's not good enough to be starting for Liverpool. He's a good option off the bench if you want, but Diogo Jota should be the player that's starting. I did not understand that call by Klopp to start Firmino instead of Jota, with Jota scoring I think in both of the first two games. I thought he should have been starting. He substituted Jota on in the 43rd minute. I don't know if Firmino was injured. I haven't figured that out just yet. If he wasn't injured, it is a bit of a kick to the teeth for Firmino being subbed off in the 43rd minute. But he wasn't good. He wasn't good. Salah was pretty good today. Nothing special. He scored the penalty. He was Liverpool's main threat the whole game. He's obviously Liverpool's best player. Him and Van Dijk. So that's basically all that happened in this game. I'd love to hear some of your guys' opinions on this game. So if you are watching the stream, just drop in the comments below some of your thoughts. As I'm seeing here, Thomas Tuchel has been complaining a little bit about the red card, saying that the call was made a bit too quick, and I kind of have to agree with him because the referee barely looked at the replay on the screen. He saw it live for a few seconds and he already made the call. But if he believed that on the first after the first time he saw it, that he believed it was a penalty, I guess he will not change his call that easily. But for Chelsea, a 1-1 draw at Anfield with 10 men is a very solid result. I know they must be thinking a little bit that they were the best side throughout the whole game, and if Reece James wasn't sent off, they could have won it. But if I was a Chelsea fan, a 1-1 draw against Liverpool at Anfield with 10 men is a massive result for the title race. And as I've said, it's a massive result for the title race. And Thomas Tuchel should be happy with his squad here today, holding on to get a point with 10 men against this Liverpool side. Is a very good thing, and I think Thomas Tuchel must be pretty happy with that performance. He must be pretty happy with that performance. So as I've said, guys, just drop some comments. Drop some comments in the chat, and we'll have a little talk about them. Chelsea were the best side. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree that for as long as the game was 11 against 11, Chelsea were the better side. And I think if it stayed 11 against 11, as I said, Chelsea would have come out to win this game. Because Liverpool just don't seem to be able to break down this Chelsea side. I know it obviously has to be difficult to break down a side that's so defensive at that second half. Chelsea were totally parking the bus. But that's what they had to do. They had to defend their point, and that's what they did. Liverpool couldn't break them down. And it's just Liverpool don't seem to be at that same level that they were a few years ago. Liverpool in 2 years ago, I think they would have won this game. I honestly do think they would have won this game 2 years ago. They had more energy, they were more direct, more shots more chances created. The midfield obviously has been downgraded a little bit with Gini Wijnaldum leaving for PSG. But even without Wijnaldum, you have some options there. They've signed Konate at the centre back role. I know defensively they've been very solid, and Matip has been very good. But why not try him out a little bit? He's a very good player. He was amazing at RB Leipzig. Why not try a back two of Van Dijk and Konate for a little while? Why not try Thiago Alcantara starting instead of Elliott? Why not mix things up a little bit more? It just seems like it's the same old stuff every single week for Liverpool, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Klopp doesn't really mish and mash with his side very much, and I think it could be a problem for this Liverpool side if they want to compete for this title. And I do think they have the quality to compete for this title. They are as good as Chelsea, City, United, first 11 wise. You could argue that they have the best first 11 in the whole league. I'm not gonna argue that that's the case, but you can argue with that. You can make an argument with that starting 11. Obviously, City do have the most firepower coming off the bench. They have players like Mahrez, Sterling. They have so much quality off that bench. So many good attacking players, but they obviously don't have a striker. They only have Gabriel Jesus. They don't currently have any other strikers in their ranks. And Chelsea have a very, very good side, but you could argue that they need a few more upgrades defensively, maybe get one more centre back in, and then you could argue that they do have the best starting 11 in the league. You could also argue that about Man United, especially with Ronaldo coming in. But the problem with the United side is that they do not currently have a defensive midfielder. And that's, I think, the reason why if they don't buy a defensive midfielder in the last 3 days that's left of this transfer window, I think they could struggle to compete for this title, even with signing Cristiano Ronaldo. That defensive midfielder role is so important for this United side with the way they want to play. With Pogba and Bruno Fernandes, you need a player there, a Kante and indeed a very central defensive midfielder that's gonna just stay in front of the defensive and protect them. That's what United need if they want to compete for the title. I do think they can still compete for the title even without an elite central defensive midfielder. They could somehow make it work with McTominay, Fred, Matic, a mixture of them three. They can still, if they are so good going forward, they can still manage to put on a challenge for the league. But that defensive midfield role is so important. It's the reason why they dropped points last weekend against Southampton. Because Fred was absolutely awful last weekend against Southampton. And that was the main reason why they couldn't win that game. But with Chelsea, Kante and Jorginho is so good. So good. Jorginho really was misunderstood the first year he played at Chelsea. I remember he was being booed by Chelsea fans. And you could argue that they were not wrong. He wasn't really providing much. But since Thomas Tuchel has come in, Jorginho has been a different player. Totally different player. He's been absolutely world class throughout the whole of this year. He was amazing with Italy at the Euros, obviously winning the Euros with Italy. He was also amazing with Chelsea last year as well, ever since Thomas Tuchel came in, winning the Champions League. And he's really starting to bring that form into the new season as well. And this Kante and Jorginho partnership really seems to be very good. I think it could be one of the key reasons why Chelsea are going to be challenging for that title. A player that they need to solve is Timo Werner. Obviously, Timo Werner didn't play today. I think he was on the bench. Let me check that out. He had to be on the bench. There's no way they left him out of the squad. Yeah, so he was on the bench. Didn't feature though, and that's a bit of a worry. That is a bit of a worry. It's a striker that you paid 60 million, 70 million. I don't remember how much they paid for him last year, and he's not there yet. He's missing so many chances every time he plays, and with Lukaku coming in, I think he might have lost his chance at Chelsea. I don't know if he'll want to stay at Chelsea and play a lesser role, playing most of the time on the bench, because I don't think you can drop either Havertz or Mason Mount right now. They are very good. You could maybe play a 4-2, play with two strikers with both Lukaku and Werner, but you still have to drop either Mount on or Havertz and play like a 5-2-1, 5-2-1-2, something like that. But I don't think Thomas Tuchel will try anything that different anytime soon. So I just don't see Timo Werner being featured a lot this year, especially if Lukaku starts to get some form. It's going to be very difficult for Timo Werner this season. Hakim Ziyech also was on the bench, who is another player that probably is not very happy with the amount of game time he has got so far at Chelsea. He probably was expecting a little bit more, but he hasn't gotten it so far. He's not been bad when he's played. He hasn't been hugely impressive either, but he hasn't been bad. Um, and I think he might deserve a little bit more of a chance. Uh, he's probably going to get this chance because it's a very, very long season. Chelsea will have to play many, many games, and I think he'll get a few chances in either Champions League games, maybe some Premier League games, Cup games. There's a lot of stuff to play for Chelsea. If you're Chelsea, you have a squad that should be competing for all the major honours. All the major honours. It's that good of a side, and if you add Saul from Atletico Madrid and if you add Koundé from Sevilla as well in this side, there's really no excuses not to not be winning Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, FA Cups, League Cups. You should be challenging for absolutely everything, and at the end of the season, you should be going home with a few trophies as well. So, guys, that's all I've had to say on this game. I hope you guys enjoyed this little live stream. Not many people joined. We didn't have much of a conversation in the comments, but still was really enjoyable talking to you guys about this game. So I'll see you guys on the next stream or the next video, whatever comes first. I'll see you guys there. Goodbye.